Welcome all to today's piece where we will be looking at the WZ-111, the Chinese counterpart to the I-6, being a Tier 8 preferential heavy tank. A lot of people liken it to the I-6, and I hope in this replay I will show you how it does in some aspects, which coincidentally this being a replay on Overlord is an especially good time to do so, since not everyone seems to be familiar with the map yet. Speaking of which, before we get into our location, let's have a go at Stratsketch, as always. Now, we will be going where I find is more conducive for heavy tanks to go, up here and hanging up top, since Trip will be taking below. But on this map, if there is a TD, it will invariably be in these two positions, and if you get too aggressive around these corners, either heading north or south, they will hit you. They will hit you hard. And then you've got this little danger zone to where technically you could go there if you wanted, but you best make certain you've got it completely covered by your allies. And then we got the beach, and we're going to ignore that. Getting back into the match, having a better speed than the IS-6 and going downhill with a very good clip, as you saw. Watch this. Oh yeah, taking that early spot, whacking a WZ, who apparently does not have a repair kit. Poor bugger. For everyone watching, if you're in a light tank, please do yourself a favour, put a repair kit on it. You don't want that to happen to you as well, because it will. Jesting aside. Ah yes, watch this. Yeah, not the best pen, but as everyone knows, with all the Russian 175 pen 122s, 175 pen works at lower tiers, 7, doable against heavies. But it can be a bit tricky and a bit of a pain going around the corner, which is a bad idea, I might add. Bit of a pain on a Tier 8 heavy, but the IS-6 and the WZ both fix that problem with rather decent premium shells, though again, finding its way into spaced armor, doing little damage, though that's not so much the penetration that's the issue as the dispersion, since it hit his gun mantlet. Ah yes, and I would be amiss if I did not mention, see that upper side, on the tail end, where you've got the hull, this tank has very good spaced armor, and then, with the 50-ton hitters, looking at that lower plate, right where it meets the upper, and he grazed, going up top, he's aiming where he should be. But this tank has very good armor on it, all round. Some would say better than the I-6, others would argue not. In any event, it is at the very least comparable. Polishing that tiger off. Since we're in a bit better of a position, we're going to boogie and get into this little dip over here. That way we can make use of not gun depression, but there is a very distinct position I'm going to show you that this tank excels at. Trip nearly having it, popping that BK in the Jack C. Krug. I think Trip had the same idea and waffled. I blame RNG. Oh no, there he goes, he got it. Now, going over in a position, and Trip tracking us. Going up backwards, see? We barely see his turret, we're backing up, raising, so all we can do is hit the turret. Seems a bit counterintuitive, but it can work, except for the fact that he was using HE and did damage anyway. Right, and the other one is coming up at an angle like this, waiting for the poke and off. If they hit the upper sides or that front plate at this angle, and you're not presenting any of the side, they're going to ricochet or hit enough spaced armor, pending it being a very high pin gun, 240 or more, and going to the upper side. But there's a bit of finagling that will go on with this tank that's a bit counterintuitive, but most times pretty much like an IS-3, I would liken it. You don't want to angle too much with the tank, which makes it a bit different playstyle than the IS-6, but I genuinely think, as we come over here, ignoring the T-34 and having a go at these IS-6s, or up the side, num 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 num, it serves the same role as the IS-6. So to go back into the original, comparing the two, it plays rather similar, but it's a bit of a side grade, as I will show you in Tank Inspector at the tail end of the video. Well, let's use the dead hull of our Su-100, because he's good for something now, even in his death. Which is one thing I hasten to add. You will always want, oh look at that, the I-6 bat. Well, I was going to show you that he bounced off, but we got this bloody bush in the way. Never mind. And we reciprocate by bouncing off of him. Going back to what I was saying, you will always want to cover that lower plate. It is indeed weaker than the IS-6, not by as much as you'd think, but that is, in my mind, compensated by the better armor model on the upper hull and the turret, as I will show you. Now, try to get a shot into that lower glacis. Again, 0.4 accuracy, exact same as the IS-6. So anyone out there that thinks this is going to be any different than the IS-6, as far as end accuracy goes, it's the same. But now that that ended, I must show you the after battle, through what replays at any rate. That was a good game, but at 141k, that is exceptional. It is on par with the IS-6 for credit turning, which is a very, very good thing. But what I really want to show you is this. Look at that damage blocked by armor, 3500, and that 50-ton, along with those mediums, granted they were 2.6, the 50-ton had good pen. He was the one that was bouncing off the most. This thing has very reliable armor, and it's a Pref 8. It's not as effective in a 9, and now that I mention that, let's have a little look at Tank Inspector quick. This is what I want to go into detail over. WZ, the soft stats first. Everyone you've undoubtedly heard mention that WZ has bad gun handling. That is only true in part. End accuracy, same as the I-6 that we're comparing it to. Aim time, exact same. Same with Bloom on slow running. Now, when you see these numbers, or I should say wording of full speed, if you've got R hit 3 times, you're going your vehicle's max acceleration, it's max speed. The Bloom is more pronounced to the IS-6, but that roughly translates into perhaps half, possibly a full second longer aim time, which is problematic. But it's at the same time, as I've said, this is a side grade vehicle. It goes much quicker than the IS-6. Worse power to weight ratio, yes, but on flat surfaces, depending if it's swamp or something of horrendous terrain resistance, it gets up to 42 reliably, and if you're downhill as you saw at the beginning of this match, it goes at a very good clip of 55 plus. But the other side grade difference that I especially want to show you, 380 meter view range compared to the i6's 350. If you're alone, that can make a monumental difference in spotting a medium tank potential at the same time as you, and you're going to be much more situationally aware because you're going to be seeing that much further. Doesn't kill the i6, but it certainly puts the WZ in a better light. Now let's go into the armor model as everyone loads up Tank Inspector 4. Look at this. A flat on, a slightly above angle, but let's face it, if you're on a flat surface, this is most likely the angle you're going to be seeing. It's around 160 in the weak bits, but if you go down below, without moving it like an umpty, incredibly thick, and that driver's edge is very misleading. It's not physically there, but a lot of people still try and shoot it, or the shoulders. This tank, that is still relatively thick at 170, but nearly all 70% of the front of the tank outside of that center weak bit is incredibly thick armor. On par or above the i6. Lower glacis, bit weaker, but at the same time 150, that's not all that bad, and it's really easy to cover. But that angle I showed early on, which is this, I love doing going up ridges. If you've got the upper side covered, they will be having a pen at 220, ricocheting on certain bits, or that spaced armor on the sides. It is glorious. All of that into perspective. Final verdict. This tank is very much a good analog Chinese version of the i6. I personally love the tank. I hope those that own it already do, and if you're looking at getting it in the future, I think you'll love it just as much as I, as long as you can get along with that Russian accuracy. So to end things off, I hope everyone found this, as I accidentally moved the tires, entertaining, or at the very least, informative. Good day.